All right, ready to dive into breakthrough advertising? We're going to be unlocking some secrets here with Eugene Schwartz. And, this isn't just about selling soap or anything. It's really about understanding, like, what makes people tick.
It's amazing how relevant this book still is, even after all these years. Schwartz really seemed to get at something fundamental about how we're wired, you know, human desire and all that.
Yeah, totally. One of the things that really grabbed me right away was this whole idea of mass desire. Like he's saying good copywriting isn't about, just making stuff up, making people want things they didn't before. It's about tapping into those desires that are already there deep down.
Exactly. It's about understanding what your audience is already feeling, what they're already craving.
Hmm.
Think about, like, the car market back in the 50s. Ford was really pushing safety features, right? But what people really wanted, deep down, was that sense of power, style, which, brands like Cadillac and Chrysler, they really tapped into that.
It's like Ford was trying to solve a problem nobody even knew they had. You know what I mean? Makes you wonder what would happen if they'd gone a different route, tapped into that desire for a different kind of driving experience.
Yeah. It's a perfect example of how important it is to get that mass desire, right? Good advertising, it's not just about the product. It's got to connect with something deeper, something more emotional. And Schwartz, he doesn't just like leave you hanging with this big idea either. He gives you a way to navigate all this, how people's desires change over time through these stages of market sophistication.
Right, the 5 stages. It's kind of like a roadmap, isn't it? He's saying, look, you can't keep using the same old tricks, especially on people who've seen it all before.
Exactly. Imagine the weight loss industry, right?
Yeah.
A simple ad that just says, lose weight.
Yeah.
That might work at first.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, everybody's saying the same thing. The market gets more sophisticated. People get, well, let's say, a little more skeptical.
So then how do you break through all that noise? What's an advertiser supposed to do when the market gets more, sophisticated?
You got to find a new angle, a fresh approach. Schwartz calls this creating a point of difference. It's basically coming up with a new way to get to that same result, something novel. Like, remember those ads that were like, float the fat right out of your body?
Okay, yeah. That's definitely going to turn more heads than just a plain old lose weight ad. There's something new there, different.
Exactly. It's exciting, right? Intriguing. But here's the thing. Even novelty gets old after a while. As the market keeps getting more and more sophisticated, you need to go even deeper. It's not enough to just be new. You got to connect with something more.
So if being new and different isn't enough, what's next? Like, what's the goal when you're dealing with a really savvy audience, a market that's seen it all?
Well, that's where this idea of identification comes in, you know. It's not just about what the product does anymore. It's about what it says about the person using it. Think about those old cigarette ads, the ones with, like, the cowboys and the, what were they called? Oh, rugged outdoorsmen, that whole image.
Oh, totally. The Marlboro Man, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really about the cigarettes themselves, was it? It was more about, like, this whole lifestyle they were selling.
Exactly. Freedom, adventure, that rugged masculinity, all that. People weren't just buying a pack of cigarettes. They were buying into this whole identity.
It's amazing how powerful that can be, that association. Like you said, it becomes a statement, not just a product.
And that actually leads into another big part of persuasive advertising that Schwartz talks about, belief.
Yeah.
Because it's not enough to just make people want something. You also have to make them believe that your product is actually going to help them get it.
Right. And how do you do that? He talks about headlines a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like all those different strategies for writing headlines that really grab your attention.
38 of them, to be exact. Using numbers to make things feel more concrete, Like, now, relief from all 5 acid-caused stomach troubles in seconds. Or asking a question, pulling people in. Who else wants a whiter watch with no hard work?
Right, right. It's about getting people curious, promising a solution to their problems. But then there's that other thing he talks about, which seems kind of strange at first. Admitting a flaw. How does that even work?
He calls it redefinition. Basically, you take something that people might see as a negative, and you flip it around, turn it into a positive. Like, remember those old Life Buoy soap ads? They talked about how it had that medicinal smell, but they said it was because it was so good at, killing germs, getting rid of odors.
Oh, that's interesting. So instead of hiding it, you actually highlight it, but you change how people see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're anticipating what people might be thinking, what their objections might be, and you're addressing them head on. You're saying, yeah, we know it's like this, B-U-T, and then you shift their perspective.
So we've got desire, identification, belief. Schwartz is really building a case for like a much more thoughtful approach to advertising, isn't he? It's not just throwing something together and hoping it sticks.
Not at all. And when it comes to building that belief, he actually gives a really interesting framework for how to do it. He uses this example of a TD repair manual. Instead of just coming right out and saying, hey, this will save you money, it starts by talking about how frustrating it is to deal with those high repair costs. And then it kind of walks you through step by step how this manual is the solution.
It's like you're building a staircase, right? Leading them up to that belief one step at a time. He also talks about this thing called borrowing believability, right? What's that all about?
Ah, yes. This is where it gets really clever. Basically, Schwartz says that advertisers can borrow some of that trust, that credibility, from sources that people already respect. Like, imagine if your ad is designed to look like an article from the Wall Street Journal, you know? It just feels more believable.
Oh, I see what you mean. Because people already trust that source, so you're kind of tapping into that existing trust. It's like you're saying, hey, if it's good enough for the Wall Street Journal, it's good enough for you.
Exactly. You're leveraging the authority they've already built up without even explicitly saying it. Kind of makes you think about how, like, political campaigns, they'll sometimes try to make their ads look like news reports
Mm-hmm.
for that same reason.
Yeah, it's like you're borrowing their credibility just by, tweaking the style a little bit. Pretty
Mm.
sneaky. But Schwartz, he doesn't stop there. He actually digs even deeper into the language itself, right?
Oh, absolutely. He was really big on the power of words, like how certain words can make you feel a certain way or make you think of a specific thing. He wanted copywriters to really think about those things, like almost like they were poets, you know?
So it's not just about the information itself, it's the whole package, how it's delivered.
Exactly. Think about it. Like some words just have that built-in feeling,
Yeah.
you know, like homemade or traditional. You hear those words and you instantly think of like comfort, family, all those good things. Or how about guaranteed or proven? Those words, they make you feel more secure, more confident. Schwartz wanted copywriters to be really intentional about all those little things.
It's like they're painting a picture with their words, not just, writing a sentence.
That's a great way to put it. You're trying to create an experience for the reader, not just give them a bunch of facts. And Schwartz, he really emphasizes that. Good advertising, it doesn't just tell you something, it shows you. It uses those vivid descriptions to really draw you in, make you feel like you're right there.
This has been so interesting. Schwartz's book, it's not just about advertising, is it? It's really a deep dive into, like, human nature, how we think, and what makes us tick.
Totally. What I love about this book is that even though it was written so long ago, it's still so relevant. Because, people haven't really changed that much, have they? Those desires, those needs, they're still there.
Exactly. So whether you're, trying to sell something or just trying to communicate more effectively, understanding these principles, it can make a huge difference.
For sure. It all comes down to that need to connect with people,
Yeah.
to understand them, to make them feel seen and heard. And Schwartz, he gives you the tools to do that in a way that feels authentic and, actually helps people.
Well said. So, as we wrap up our deep dive into breakthrough advertising, think about this. What are those deep seated desires that your audience has? How can you connect with them on that level and craft a message that really speaks to them? And how can you use language to, really bring that message to life? Keep those questions in mind. And I think you'll be surprised at what you can achieve.